So now we'll sing Surely the Presence. Sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down,
down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way. Who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down, down to the river to pray.
I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way. Who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down, down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way. Who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mothers, let's go down, down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way. Who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Thank you, Barbara. As always, our wonderful music director. Frank, thank you so much. Rachel, thank you. We're off to a great start. I'd like to welcome you all here this morning and challenge you to bring somebody, another friend to you with us next week. Also, for you listeners at home, welcome to Unity of the Seacoast, a spiritual community with a spiritual message. Today's daily word comes to us from the Unity Village in their publication. Today's word is acceptance. I practice acceptance and find peace. In the past, I have resisted unwelcome situations and unwanted outcomes. Over time, I have learned that my resistance did little more than leave me agitated and unhappy. I have learned to trade resistance for acceptance. Accepting situations as they are does not mean I like what is happening, but it does mean I am willing to be present to it without resistance or struggle. From that place, I am better able to work toward creating better conditions for myself and others. When I practice acceptance, I invite the presence of God to inspire and comfort me. I shift my attention from what might feel wrong to that which is always right, the absolute unchanging goodness of God. And from Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I am referring to being in need, for I have learned to be content with whatever I have. Acceptance. I practice acceptance and find peace. Our mission statement should be up on the screen. We could all share in that. Okay. We are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. We dedicate this year to activating the abundance of prosperity in our lives with gratitude, love, action, and connecting to the divine within us and the world around us. Okay, thank you. Our community is active in the sense that we have other things going on other than the services on Sunday. And the first Monday of each month at 7 p.m., Charlie leads a meditation. This last one was this past Monday, and it was on our Facebook page so that you can view it. For those of you at home that would like to play it again, or for us who may have missed it, just go onto YouTube and Unity of the Seacoast, and you'll get Charlie's meditation. Let's see. Oh, it also says that just go to our webpage at unityoftheseacoast.org and scroll down until you find it. See the links to bring you to our live services or even past services. Our donate button is there. Our church always accepts your donations, and we hope that we are giving you what you need as well. Our donate button is there, and it's a blue button called Tithely. Just click on it, and there you have it, an opportunity to share your treasures with us. If you prefer to mail your donation, our mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, the McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. And don't forget to check out our meetup groups for all our events. You can also access this on our webpage as well. Join us for our poetry group Poets in Unity. We want to thank Shane Moran for hosting this. It is the third Saturday of each month at 2 p.m. And there's a note here that says they had a nice turnout at the last one. So you might want to check that out. I have not been, but I plan to. I think that's a neat idea. Game night, beginning in March, is now the fourth Friday of each month at 6:30 p.m. Game night is a time to get together, a social time. We are all welcome to attend. You do not have to be a member of Unity, so bring a friend and enjoy playing cards or board games. We have some board games here, and you're welcome to bring one and share it with us. This was last Friday, and again, it was really fun, and I got to tell you, I missed it. Next week's talk by Tom will be the next installment on prosperity. That's our theme for this year, prosperity. And Tom has some other slants to what prosperity means to us. And it'd be exciting, I think, to hear. I look forward to that message as well. That's next week. He will look at how our attitudes affect prosperity. So it's now time for Namaste. For those of you who aren't sure of what Namaste means at home, it is an opportunity to greet each other in a way in which we acknowledge your divine, the Jesus, the Christ in you. And we honor that by putting our hands together in a prayer-like fashion. And we say Namaste, but our eyes are looking at your eyes. So if we'd all please stand now and greet each other. Namaste. 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 Thank you all. I feel the presence. I feel the presence, for sure. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite the choir back up, and they're going to enliven us with another song. Did I get those mixed up? Okay.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee.
Every time I look into the holy book, I want to tremble. When I read about the part where the carpenter cleared the temple. For the buyers and sellers were no different fellas than what I profess to be. And it causes me shame to know I'm not the guy that I should be.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee.
Mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 7. When I'm down on my knees, that's when I'm close to heaven. Daddy lived his life for 2 kids and a wife, and you do what you must do. And it showed me enough of what it takes to get me through.
Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee.
Thank you once again, Barbara and Frank and Rachel. What a wonderful song. I've always believed that there is the Christ in all music. Music seems to be a universal way of communicating. I don't care where you are on the earth, you'll find music. And that leads me into our introduction of our speaker this morning. The topic is the ethics of Jesus. I think that's a great topic. It's going to be one that I'm going to pay a close attention to, because we all are learners and we all know who Jesus was, but I think it's a tremendous topic. So without further ado, my pastor, my teacher, yours as well, Tom Scheinler.
Thanks so much, Ernie. Good morning, everyone. We do a little house cleaning. Awesome. I'm not good at house cleaning because here's last week's talk. So we all turn to the Bible at some point in our lives. Growing up, it was so much bigger than what I thought it was, because it came with all the traditions, all the doctrine, all the rules, everything that past generations had taught me about the Bible. And I didn't slow down to look at what it was really saying to me, what I could use on a day-to-day level. And I spent a lot of time talking about that. And then I read something a couple weeks ago about the ethics of Jesus. And I didn't follow the rest of the conversation because that just phrase stuck with me. And he has his own code of ethics. And if you're reading the Bible and you're just following how he speaks and interacts, you realize that he's laying down another example of how we should behave. This is why it's called the way shower. I always talk about the spiritual side of Jesus and how he's the way shower and how to use those in our day-to-day activities in life. But part of our day-to-day activities is our ethical code. We're faced with it many times during the day and thousands of times during our lives. And even then, when we're faced with dilemmas, sometimes we need a guide of what we should do. We just need that other voice. When I first think of the ethics in the Bible, I go to the 10 Commandments because that's what I was taught. But we look at Jesus' understanding of these, and he uses these, but he seemed to have a code of ethics beyond that. So much so that it sparked that movement like 20 years ago, what would Jesus do? And that's that little extra voice in a situation, and if you can pause and think about it, quite often you can come up with a solution or a path to a solution that represents your highest self. When I was growing up, the 10 Commandments were what we followed. You shall have no gods before me. You shall make no idols. You shall not take the Lord God's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor your mother and father. You shall not commit adultery. Do not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, and you shall not covet. And these are practical guidelines, and they fit for the time, and many of them still fit today. You know, do not kill, we get, but we make exceptions for food and nourishment. We make exceptions for war or capital punishment. We negotiate ways out of that. Do not covet. Don't yearn for what others have. Included in this is your neighbor's wife. Obviously, this is a very male-dominated society who wrote this. Or your neighbor's ass. Donkey. Not many of us still own a donkey. Or don't covet his male or female servant, which also makes you think is very closely tied to slavery. And since it specifically mentions do not covet, what if you are the servant? Aren't you supposed to covet freedom? Doesn't that make sense? So these things were written at a time to fit for a time. You know, we've adjusted it. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. That's just like a minimal poof now. How many times we say, God damn it, if we've overcooked an egg or bent a nail or got a paper cut? You shall have no gods before me. The God of the Hebrew Scriptures was a very jealous God, and he said so in this commandment. But these don't have much to do with ethics. But it does mean to honor that which created you. It means all the process that is available to us and to create life. Honor that. Honor the earth and all those on the earth that nurture itself and that nurture you. Honor the food you eat, the water we drink, the air, everything that gives all to all. It also gets tied to honor thy mother and the father. It doesn't mean you don't disagree with your parents, but respect them. They gave you life. Unwritten in this is allow them to make the same mistakes that you allow yourself to make. Honor the Sabbath. They spell it out clearly. Take a day off to honor the Lord. Enjoy all that is created for you and for us and for everybody. You ever go to the beach, spent the day at the beach? That's honoring the beauty of what was created. There's nothing wrong with doing the things that you want to do. That's part of honoring the Sabbath. And we can break down all those 10 commandments at a later talk. But mention it just because that's the first thing that I think of when I think of ethics in the Bible. And then later Leviticus and Proverbs. And they give a more detailed ideas about living a life. But again, most of those based on the time and based on purity rules. We've come a lot further than those purity rules, in those days of the purity rules. We understand that a woman is not clean for going through her menstrual cycle. We understand that no one's evil for wearing men's clothing or women's clothing. Though we see a guy do it, we'll still tease him, unless he's Irish and he's wearing a kilt, then he gets a pass. But then we get to Jesus, and he has his own ideas, and he demonstrates his ethical code and talks of it all the time. His ethical code is something that we can relate to. I mean, that's the idea of it. That's part of what's written in there. First and foremost, he says, love God above all else. This does not mean drop down and swear allegiance to some patriarchal figure up in the sky. It means, again, honor that which created us. Every possible thing that ever existed came about because of scientific principle interacting with spirit. Spirit is that something that allows all those principles to act in the exact way that they do at all times. And in that process, it's creating infinite possibilities from those two first particles to everything we see and know around us. Loving God means loving all the creations, including everything on earth and all the universe. I mean, how many possible cures have been wiped out because we've wiped out vegetations across the globe? I mean, maybe in animals that create some kind of enzyme that can be used to cure something. And when we honor the universe and all its creatures, we have the tendency to give ourselves life, the possibility to give ourselves life. So honor that. And then he follows that by what he says is the second greatest commandment, and these are really closely tied. And it's this one here, love thy neighbor as thyself. There are no loopholes. None. Nada. It doesn't say only if they believe like you or what their skin color is. It does not mention their sexual preferences. It says nothing about if they show up at our borders. It says nothing about if they don't have good health insurance, or if they're overweight or underweight, or if their clothes don't fit our standard. It says nothing about if they've harmed you or if they've made errors in their life. There's absolutely no qualification to love thy neighbor as thyself except to be a neighbor. If you're human, you've earned that right to be respected by everybody. You know, and we classify this sometimes. You know, Jesus was one of the first refugee. He fled because of political persecution. We put those down in the media and in the news. We make it seem like these people are evil for wanting the same things that we have. We won the birth lottery. We were born here. We have these freedoms at a time in the world when we don't have to worry. We have great health insurance. We have great medical coverage. We have all these things, yet we're comfortable denying it to others. Where's the ethics in that? Whether it's a person on your road or a person across the world, he doesn't qualify it with love thy neighbor. Just be a neighbor. We mold it so much. I mean, Jesus probably looked vastly different than what we picture him. He was probably much darker, came from a darker region of the country. Yet he expects us to love everybody in the exact same way. So it doesn't matter. We have to let go of what he looked like, let go of our preconceived notions, and get back to the words and his ethics. He expects us to do the right thing, to forget about the rules of the past, to just help each other. That's the Good Samaritan story. That's what that means. Respect each other no matter your first impression of them. That's the story of the Canaanite woman at the well. He doesn't want to help her at first because she's not Jewish. He compares her to a dog. And the story has a couple layers to it. First layer is that he cast away the rules and traditions of the time because it was inappropriate for a man to speak to a woman he did not know. Yet he engages her in conversation. And he changes his heart by finding her wisdom, finding the loophole in his thought consciousness through her wisdom. He compares it to a dog, and she responds, basically, our dog's not nourished from the scraps of the table. Meaning that if your words are within my earshot, won't they help me as well? And from that moment on, his mission is changed to include all. And I've had people take offense when I explain that Jesus might not have been the nicest guy in that particular moment. And there is a fair side to that. He may have been setting the stage to see if this woman gets it, or he may have just been a jerk that day. We've all had those moments where we've not been our best footing. But this story to me is so fitting because it shows him on a human level. You know, if Jesus was always perfect, and there's that, you will do the things I do and greater, well, how can we attain that if he's perfection and we're never there? But by him putting himself here shows that we can attain that. We can follow all the things that he shows us, including his ethical code. You know, even if he had prejudice, he puts himself out there and we watch him grow. Maybe he did know the outcome. Maybe it was all set up. But again, the lesson is that everyone matters. And he demonstrates this in his actions over and over again. You know, there are a couple schools of thoughts when I was looking up Jesus' ethical code. One line is called absolute. It deals with a very rigid following of his ethics. And this is tough because everything I read about it gets tied to doctrine. Those doctrines that came about 300 years after his death. And the second one is called reinterpreted. That's where you get to step back and look at the ethics and how they work in your life. You bring them into today's moment. It doesn't, when you're rigid, it can lead to a dual standard or a double standard. My way or you're going to hell. In other words, we're raising ourselves up to condemn another because we believe in our way. Jesus didn't do that. He didn't follow people like that. Judge not, lest ye be judged. What a powerful statement. He lived by this. The people he hung out with, the rest of society judged them. He never judged them. They're everyday people like you and me. He never told people what their sin was. He never went up, you need to do this, change that, do that. Just said, if you're doing stupid stuff, stop doing it. It's not that hard, but ethically, it just makes sense. Don't be a jerk because don't be a jerk. You know, we get moments in life that we can help each other. But we don't have to point out over and over what we think is wrong with them or why we think they shouldn't be in that position. Just help when you can and let it go. It's not our job to point someone else who may be down here, what we interpret as down here, to bring them up to our level. Maybe they don't want to be at our level. Maybe what they're doing works for them. But if their life is not working for them, they will figure it out. They know why. We can be there to help, but be a friend. Treat people on that friend level always. Don't always treat the person as if they are their situation. I remember years ago when my kidneys failed. I was renting a room from a couple, and she introduced me as Tom. This is the guy with the bad kidneys. Like, no! I'm just Tom. That's a little aspect of that. But we do this all the time. We see people at different moments of their life. You know, oh, that's Joe. That's the guy who's been out of work. No, it's Joe. He doesn't have a job at the moment, but it's Joe. So treat people on that level. Don't allow them to have that feeling that you're only with them because they're in need. And there are a lot of people who do that, who just want to be around someone who's in need, so they can help raise them, but help raise themselves up. And there is a sense of payoff in that, but there has to be balance. Each person that we communicate with is a human. They have all the same emotions that we have. And in their darkest moments, that's when they need to be treated most like a human, not just their situation. Their situation is never the label. We are always a child of God, and we should act from that. You know, what would Jesus do should pop in your mind. And it's funny because I don't like those catchy things. I never liked, you know, what would Jesus do movement until this past week. Then it's like, I get it. I thought it was just another reason to wear a yellow band around your arm or something. So we get back to judge not lest you be judged. You know, he told people who needed to change, you know, to do the things, but he never judged them. He never condemned them for it. You know, we get moments again in our life when we can help out, but we don't have to point out to these people over and over what's going on in their life, because we all have stuff going on in our life. And if we're doing that to others, aren't we kind of being a little hypocritical? Jesus spent a lot of his life dealing with hypocrisy, not only with the existing powers that ran the government at the time, but on an individual level. And in fact, he was so much against hypocrisy. That's the main reason that got him killed, because he stood against the government. But he stands against hypocrisy for ourselves. And he says that in Matthew 7:3. And why do you look at the speck in your brother's eyes, but do not consider the plank in your own eye? And later, Matthew 5:7, it deals with thoughts of anger. You've heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not murder," and whoever murders shall be in danger of judgment. But I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whoever says to his brother, Raka, I don't know what that means, shall be in danger of the council. But who says, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore you bring a gift to the altar, and remember that your brother has something against you. Leave that gift before the altar and go your way, but first be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Now that's a long verse for saying, when you walk around with anger in your heart, you need to get rid of it. Even if one of those people who does good, before you go do good, drop the anger for whatever it is and make your good an honest gesture. You know, remember watching Forrest Gump? The appealing part of that whole character to me was that he did the right thing always. That was his whole thing. He did that way with the people he dealt with in war, and he did it with Jenny, with his son. The whole movie is about someone who's just trying to do the right thing always. We know when we're trying to do the right thing. We know when we're going against our inner Christ. We know when our words are hurtful or our actions are hurtful. But we know that we can rise above that. Jesus set that example. And for the most part, many times, Jesus was just above that. You know, he showed us the way. But he also teaches us we have to weigh it all out. We do this in every aspect of our lives. When he says sin no more, he's telling you to weigh it out. Figure out the things that aren't working for you. Treat every person with kindness and love, including your own thoughts. Understand your thoughts. Understand your ethical self. And treat yourself as an ethical person. And it begins to follow. I had someone talked to me a few weeks ago. They felt bad because they gave the finger to the spouse. The spouse was really become an angry person. And she had no idea what to say. So she walked out of the room, shut the door, and flipped the person off. I almost did that to the camera. And then she was so torn up with guilt, she called up to ask me about it. And this is a really wonderful person going through a tough time in her life. And she felt like, okay, she had just let herself down. And I had to remind her, first, you did the most. How did I say it? It was non-threatening to either person. The door was shut so he couldn't see. She got her emotions out, and he never knew, and the whole situation dissipated. And she felt glad because she also hadn't done it in front of him. A week or so later, found out that he has the beginning of dementia, and this particular type of dementia, that's how it manifests in this anger that the person can't control. So she felt good when she realized I didn't harm him, and now I have an answer. I can have understanding and compassion. We never know when we're going to face adverse times or what another person's facing or anyone in the world. So we take a step back, and we think about our ethical code in these moments, and we react from that. And we try and react in as many moments as possible. When you think of that, what would Jesus do in as many moments as possible? And we do that, And I say it's possible because we're humans. We're not going to do it all in every single moment. I wish it were so, but that's part of the human experience. But when you react from your highest nature in as many moments as possible, your ethics seem to flow from that. You tend to do the right thing in the right moment. Even if that right thing is saying, I need time to sort this out or process it. It sure beats a lousy reaction that you have to go back and explain to. Because we are all going to have lousy reactions. We are all going to make mistakes, but we all need to cut each other a break for the mistakes that we make. So understand what your ethical self is. Take time to look at that and to really understand you. Try to do the right thing. And we know it can be done because we've seen Jesus act from this many times. He teaches us to forgive. And if he can forgive those who are about to take his life, what do we got that's so big? At the same time, always remember forgiveness does not mean forgetting. If I walked out to the mailbox every day, and every day my neighbor met me there and kicked me in the shin, I could forgive my neighbor, but I'm not going to forget. I'm going to walk out at midnight to get my mail, or I'm going to wear shin guards. But learn to forgive. Learn to forget that because you carry that anger and that weight. You know, Jesus' ethics are not about rules. It's a mental lifestyle change. You know, we tend to focus on the rules as something that are written in stone and we got to follow them no matter what, because if we don't follow rules, we're wrong. Well, rules are not a replacement for common sense. Just because a rule says don't eat meat on Friday doesn't mean it's wrong to eat meat on Friday. That was probably put out by the Fishing Commission. If a rule tells you how to offer grain to a priest, you're not wrong if you don't follow those rules. First of all, the rule is it has to be your finest grain. You also have to offer it with incense, and you have to offer it to 2 of Aaron's sons. Aaron had 4 sons. 2 of his sons God had killed because they offered God bad-smelling incense. So, and the second 2, with good living and God's graces, they still would have died out years ago. In fact, someone did a study of Aaron's lineage, and his lineage died out in 1620. So just because there's a rule about how to offer grain, you don't have to follow that. And by the way, grain offerings are not that popular today. Not once has anyone handed me some oats or wheat and said, I'm pleased with you, Tom. and I'm not looking for it. Yeah, I want chicken. Yeah. But seriously, it's about doing the right thing and using common sense in each moment. You know, there was a law that said slavery was legal. It didn't mean it was ethically right. So take time to use your common sense. Seek out the truth in as many moments as possible. It's not about doctrine. It's about creating a life that's worth living for yourself and for the world around you. We face ethical choices all the time, from big to little. Jesus ran into every type of person and was always able to maintain his ethical profile. He had already established that in himself. He had that so fixed that he was committed to being that person always. We get to do that. He didn't boast about it. He just acted in that. But when we start to fix our ethical profile, it reacts and helps create the life that we want to live. It's nice having people not have to talk behind your back. Oh, he meant this or this. It's going to happen, but you know you've put your best foot forward. Whatever they do, that becomes none of their business. And again, this is the drop that becomes the ripple. I mean, maybe if each person began to act in their highest ethical nature, it would start to rub off on others. Our kids would see it, our grandkids, our neighbors, people around the village. Maybe we'd start electing people who have a similar ethical code. Maybe other world leaders would see this. We're the beacon of ethics, beacon of morality, and not a preconceived morality. You know, morality of helping and caring for people. It's all a utopia thing that I talk about, but I'd rather strive for utopia and miss the mark occasionally than never reach for that perfect world at all. And we get to do that in as many moments as possible. Thank you. I'll step away and we'll do the meditation.
I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. Right here and right now, I'm at peace with myself. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. Right here and right now, I'm at peace with my friends. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease. Right here and right now, I'm at peace with my world. I'm quiet, calm, I'm at ease.
That was beautiful. Yeah, I love the choir so much, but it's also very nice to hear Barbara just sing on her own. So I'm going to ask everyone to get comfortable, take in a deep breath, and begin to develop a comfortable breathing pattern. I hadn't really thought about a meditation this week until this morning. And I realized the news said it's 2 years tomorrow that the war in Ukraine began. We've been watching that almost to the point that we're immune from it. There's also a war going on in Gaza. And if you travel across the globe, there's all disharmony in certain areas, whether it's starvation or just oppressive leadership or bad economy or whatever. But we need a sense of peace in the world. So today's meditation is focused on peace. And we come together knowing there's one power and presence in the universe and in our lives, God and a great omnipresence. As we sit, take a few comfortable breaths, going in deep. And exhaling. And let your mind go deep inside you. And travel to that spot where understanding happens. That spot where peace arises. It arises and fills your whole being. And sit in that spot that's your peace. And breathe. And this is that place that your conscious mind meets God consciousness. It's that peace that we can come to at any moment. And picture that peace as a little ember, a little spark. And that spark is a spark of the divine that resides in us all. And just watch that ember begin to get brighter and glow and expand in size. Feel that warmth as it expands and picture it. Picture the glow as it fills your chest. And moves down across your legs to your toes. Now your arms to your fingers. Encompasses your head. Now picture that glowing ball just leaving you as it moves across the room and out into the community. Picture that glowing ball of energy now expanding so much, so infinitely, that your energy of peace floats over Ukraine and just settles over the whole country. Big enough to settle over Israel and Gaza and Palestine. Picture those areas just glowing bright, warm, and safe. And that glowing energy just expands until it encompasses our whole world. The whole world is at peace. That peace we feel when we're curled up in bed, blankets tucked around our neck, or sitting at a warm fire with someone we love. A peace in doing the day-to-day things and not having to worry about war or hunger or oppression. Maybe that peace is petting a dog or listen to a cat purr. Eating a meal with your family and your friends. Picture a world of peace where everybody is doing the things that make a family grow, that make an individual person the best that they can be, relaxed and comfortable. not waiting for a trauma or a moment in time to pass, being in that moment of wholeness and healthy and joyfulness. And as you come back to me and to the world around you, take a moment to think of a time that you were just in peace. Maybe it was a family barbecue. Maybe you were playing a sports game as a kid, or just running around with your friends. Maybe it was listening to a song that you love on the radio, or holding someone's hand. Or just sitting with someone, knowing in that moment you're in the right spot and they are too. This is the peace that we wish for everyone in the world. And I'm going to incorporate this in the prayer for the people. If there's anyone you know that you're thinking of, hold them in the forefront of your mind. Picture them with the peace that you've been picturing for yourself. Whether it's our leaders or our neighbors, our friends and loved ones, or people we do not know. We picture and affirm that they are whole, happy, healthy, and bathed in wisdom and love. We see them in their highest nature. As we see our highest nature in ourselves. We do this in the name of Jesus, the way shower who taught us by his words, actions, and deeds. I invite you all to come back to me, kind of roll yourself out of it, and we will begin the tithes and offerings.
Oh, my baby, when you're older, maybe then you'll understand. You have angels to dance around your shoulders, because at times in life you need a helping hand. Oh, my baby, when you're praying, leave your burden by my door. You have Jesus standing at your bedside to keep you calm and safe away from harm. Come to Jesus and let him hold you in his arms. Come to Jesus and let him hold you in his arms.
Thank you, Barbara. We'll do the prayer of tithes and offerings. Divine love adds me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. Now join us for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed. Thank you all. Join us for the peace song.
I don't either. I like, I mean, I like mine anymore. I'm not singing enough.